Hey there, viewers. Deli here.
And Invictus.
Welcome to an update.
Yay!
We have a lot of stuff to show you.
Yes. Like I
Yes.
said, it's, this list is now about 15, 16 items long. So it's actually... Deli doesn't think it's a fairly big update, but it's decent sized.
Yeah, I mean, it's not big in terms of Cthulhu Shrine big, but it's big in terms of there's a lot of stuff.
Yeah. Small stuff, medium stuff, nothing large.
Yeah, a lot of detailing and whatnot.
First bit of detailing, actually, you can see right over there on the tower.
Yeah, when they enabled the ability to... When they enabled us to manipulate stairs, I guess it inspired us to try and taper more things. So I instantly went to the balconies and was like, must taper. And after, revising 3 or so times, which it was kind of dumb because I'd do the entire thing, then go back and look at it, and then decide to revise it, so I had to go rip it back down. But after doing that a little bit, it ended up looking pretty good, and we feel like it resembles an enormous chess piece.
Which I think is really cool. And let me at least say that I'm very pleased that Deli was the one doing this, because I don't have the patience for it, and one thing's for certain, I certainly was not helping. Because
At all.
I was probably doing something else, like jumping around like a madman, like I usually do. So,
Yeah, Lord only knows what you're doing. You're always up to no good.
jumping!
Alright, moving on up.
We added a few vines on the right side of this bridge here, just because we wanted to add a little balance. It looks nice.
Yeah, they used to just stop midway above this entryway.
Yeah,
So,
which is kind of awkward.
yeah, it was a good change. Alright, so in here you can see we made a small addition onto the garden here. There's a little underbelly to it.
Yep.
And this is where we planted our carrots and our potatoes. The new
Important additions
update...
to our diet.
Yeah, the new update sort of added in a lot of interesting features that have helped us sort of develop the castle a little bit more and make it seem like there's more to it. And I received a carrot randomly one night from a zombie, and then decided, hey, we need a place to plant these.
And then you murdered him.
Yep. Well, actually, I murdered him, then got his carrot.
You monster.
I'm a necrophiliac. I like to kill things, then take their carrots.
That is totally an image I did not need.
So, with the new half-slab capabilities, we made bunk beds.
Yes, and let me say that the half slab update is probably the most nice thing that has come along in a while. It has really enabled us to sort of expand on a number of ideas.
Yeah.
That and the staircases, it's just all the detailing that we've wanted to do for a while now. We've actually been able to get done. So,
Yeah, the only thing that I really want from them now is the ability to combine half slabs. So, rather than having to make 2 half slabs to make a full block, enable placing a, say, stone brick half slab on top of a wood one would be awesome.
that would be pretty cool. We kind of figured out what we think we're going to do with this balcony here. As you can see, we've sort of started to turn it into a blacksmith's shop. Right next to the barracks, it makes sense, because obviously soldiers are going to come home from war or a battle, and so they're going to have damaged armor, and they're going to want to have to just drop their armor and just throw it into the side room here and have a blacksmith take care of it. So,
Yeah, so we added in 2 what are basically forges. We're considering breaking out the center block and making it a full-size forge.
yeah.
And maybe even bringing it out some more. And we also added in of course, the awesome anvil that has amazing capabilities, but that turns you into a level whore like crazy.
Oh my gosh, yes.
We have been spending so much time gathering up levels for enchantments and combinations and repairs and things. It's just insanity.
I think we actually spend more time doing that than actually mining now.
Yeah, and we also put a alchemy brewing stand back in the alchemy lab here, because we took the original one and put it at the bar, but I recently wanted to start making some potions, so we took care of that.
Yep. So I think we skipped over something here actually on the list, the master list. We got to go to see the outside here.
Yeah, which the new garden implementation there on the bottom sort of forced us to bring the bottom a little bit lower, else we'd have water dripping out and things like that. So we had to add in a small bevel that sticks out the bottom of the garden.
That thing.
Yeah, that with all the stuff in it and the food.
Yep.
So,
I think it looks
yeah.
better, actually. I don't know. It always looked a little awkward, you know, just like I said, awkward, awkward.
Awkward. You've said awkward, awkwardly.
Awkwardly. But it always looked a little weird because it was just sort of a square on top of some X's. But now it actually looks like a little character into it. So
Yeah.
very pleased.
And so we're actually going. I think it's best that we explain why we implemented this dock, because I believe that we had mentioned during the Cthulhu Shrine building that the lake is literally right on top of the Cthulhu Shrine. So in order to effectively cover up the Cthulhu Shrine, we had to fill in the lake a little bit. So this landmass that we're standing on wasn't normally here. The land usually stopped right back in this area and ran along the side here.
Yep.
But in order to hide the shrine, we had to lay down some more here. And in turn, we decided, hey, if we're going to cut into the lake a little bit, what should we have out here?
A dock. Makes sense. That boat is totally lost, man. We got to lasso that thing in.
I wish we could get that squid going. What is that squid doing? That squid just started moon swimming. Not moonwalking, moon swimming. Michael Jackson, squid!
Michael Squidward.
Michael Squidward. Squidward Jackson.
There we go. That's even better.
Alright, so now where are we heading?
We've done docks. We've done the barracks. I think next is the fundamental change to the castle.
Alrighty.
And this is going to take a little bit of explanation because, man, one thing led to another, which led to another problem being solved, which led to another problem being solved, which led to another problem, which led to another problem being solved. So, not in that exact order. We changed the throne room. Pretty significant.
Yes. But we think it looks great.
Yeah, this is just way better than the original.
Yeah, it feels 100 times better with the stone brick in it. Also has some glass, which makes it feel more open. Altogether more royal, just because of the colors and everything that we implemented here.
Yeah. And once again, half slabs and staircases really came in handy for these entrances.
Yeah.
I think that was the first thing that really... We were looking at the wall. Remember, we asked you guys and gals specifically what we should do with that wall. And in that process, we started smashing some things out because we had, if you recall, this room back here, we had no clue what to do with.
Yeah, this is pretty much where it all started, where this
Yeah.
whole change to the throne room and everything happened. We were like, what to do with this?
I looked at this wall and I said, well, the problem is the wall. Get rid of it.
Yeah,
So we started smashing it out, and I thought, well, what if we put windows into this room that we don't know what it's going to be yet? And then that led to the idea, well, let's make it an entranceway, because it's already connected to the dining room. So we had to make the entranceway look grandiose. So you do arches. Arches are grandiose. And so are windows. And you'd want to see the king coming in. So you have these windows over here. And with a hole, so he can greet his, wonderful peasants who love him, revere him, adore him, want to talk to him, touch his hand, maybe his finger. And once he's done walking through this and doing his, royal things, he'll come up here and eat. So the number of problems that were solved simply by smashing out one wall were tremendous.
Yeah.
And once we figured out, well, we've got glass on this side, why not put glass on the other side to make it match? And that led to, well, let's make some more glass on that side. And, oh, look, this looks better. Let's smash out the walls in this room and make them stone brick. One thing. It's dominoes. That's all it is.
Yeah, it just basically one change ended up changing something elsewhere, and then we were like, well, we have to change it elsewhere as well, and it just kept on cascading one into the next and the next into the next. And we also found out we can make some pretty cool looking little windows, basically, but not obviously not glass windows, by using those staircases, because you can make little teeny, just like a quarter of a block size hole, as well as like a slightly shrunken down, like by like 30% size square, which you see up there in the top. So yeah, I think that all turned out pretty well. But then once we did this side, we sort of had to decide whether we felt like changing this out here, but we felt like this was still part of the smooth stone floor in this area. So we stuck with the smooth stone on that part.
Yep. So what do you guys think? Is this better? Improvement? We are actually very pleased with this. We actually even added in some emblems up there to add some color, which is on the inside as well. And having a little bit of color, we've found actually helps a lot. And you'll notice in our next part of the update here, do you want to move up there, up that way?
Yeah. Do you think we should put one of those insignias right here as well?
Can't hurt.
Bad thing is we can't center it over the window. The window's...
The staircase on the other side is going to get in the way, I think.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll find something to do on that wall. It just looks a little bit bland compared to the other one.
Okay.
So this one is probably the biggest change.
Yeah.
Just so you can see here, it's a little bit niftier.
We asked you guys last update what we should do with the throne room, or the king's quarters, rather. And, well, this is what we came up with.
Yeah. We want to reiterate, as we do in every update, this is all survival. And we gather every resource that you see. We gather everything and craft everything and do everything on our own. So
everything.
So if you haven't gotten the point yet, that's a lot of diamond.
That's all diamond blocks.
That's a lot of diamond. That's a lot of iron. That's a lot of lapis.
Yep.
It's just a lot.
It's blocks. Everything is blocks.
Yeah.
That's 9 of every resource per block.
Yep. So, just putting things into perspective for you. Also,
that doesn't even count the lapis in the ceiling that we've already done for a while.
Yeah. Also, this inlay here took so long.
God.
Hours and hours.
Literally hours. We smashed it out, put it back in, smash it out, put it back in. We had so many iterations that made it look like it was from Asteroid or from some other 8-bit graphic period. It was murder trying to figure out a design that sort of looked like a helmet, but looked awesome, but didn't look dumb.
Yeah, and in the end, we ended up with this, which I kind of feel like it looks like... Of course, hopefully you guys can tell it looks like a helmet is what we were aiming for. And I feel like it looks like it has some sort of spectral warrior or something inside with the glowing diamond eyes.
Really cool looking.
Yeah, we definitely dig it. And this, of course, we stayed true to our castle colors. We have the blue lapis, the green, and then the gold. Yep. So we'd like to stay true to that. We also added in some plants and things like that. We started utilizing some of this smooth stone brick, which is really nice. I really like the way it looks.
Yeah, I like it a lot. Sandstone brick, you mean?
Oh, I think I said smooth sandstone.
Oh, whatever.
Whatever. So when we were trying to do this wall here, we were going through so much different crap. We were trying every different configuration and every different type of resource you could have, and Eric had the idea to use brick.
Yeah, I don't know what really came over me, but brick didn't really work in here.
Yeah.
We tried it. I put it into a fireplace pattern and was like, oh, fireplaces are cool. The king should have a fireplace. Doesn't work very well.
Yeah,
but you know where we do need a fireplace?
The kitchen. He started ripping out that entire area. He was like, can we change the entire layout of the throne room for this sake? And I was like, no.
This fireplace is really important.
So, over yonder, we implemented a small fireplace here. So, of course, being a fireplace or an oven or whatever you want to consider it, we realized, hey, you have to have fire. So we put some netherrack down there. We hadn't accounted for the fact that right up here is wood. We toyed with the idea when we put it in. We were like, wait, isn't this wood? And I was like, actually, this is technically stone, because Minecraft never fixed the fact that wooden half slabs are actually stone, and they're best mined with a pickaxe.
Yep.
So I figured, you know, fire can't go through stone. There shouldn't be any problem. Right?
Shouldn't be. But we forgot right above it, which is actually wood. And is also connected to the huge garden.
Yeah.
Which is also flammable.
Luckily, the garden was not impacted at all.
Thank goodness.
It looked like a mouse got a hold of this and thought it was cheese, because it was just pulverized. It was ridiculous.
I walked up here one time, just not even thinking about it. We had lit the fire half an hour ago. Came up here and I was like, that's not good.
Yeah.
It's half gone.
It was kind of ridiculous.
But kind of hilarious as well. So, live and learn. So we put out that fire permanently, but it's much more for show.
Yeah, and if you ever need it started, then I suppose start it, cook your food quickly, and then get the hell out.
Yeah.
And hope
and
that
then go put out the fire.
Yeah, hope that nobody's up above.
Yep.
Alright, so as you guys know, we implemented this humongous tree and all of its excellence and niftiness. And it actually runs clear down through to the garden. And that is where the base of the trunk is. However, one day, Eric started digging randomly. Go figure. And
it's usually what I do when he's being productive.
I was doing something productive, and he randomly started digging down into the ground. And so we were like, I didn't know what he was doing. He was just being strange. So
I think I was looking for diamonds because we needed diamonds, weren't we?
Well, you started digging some strange snake pattern through the underside of the castle, compromising the integrity of its foundation even further than it already has been.
But remember where it started. We were looking for diamonds, and I decided to go into a mountain randomly and discovered something pretty cool.
Yeah, and once you found that cool thing, you decided that you had another plan for it.
Yes. And I did not consult Deliv for any of this.
Yeah, rather than asking me, do you want to make a trail from the castle to this cool thing, he just started digging, and he was popping out in random places throughout the castle, just appearing from nowhere.
I'd bust out the walls of the servants' quarters or the dining room.
I was like, where are you coming from? Stop this. But it turned out that he was onto something that was pretty cool. So he was digging this hole from a waterfall, essentially. You guys know where the water is around the tree. Well, he started digging there. And then we started thinking about it, and we thought we wanted a cooler way to actually get to this pathway to the cool thing. So you can go ahead.
Alright, so push this button.
Bye-bye. Closes right back up. So it's not super secretive because you can tell that there's a reason this is cut out, but it is still a pretty nifty implementation. Boop. You come straight down, and now we wanted it to be giving the feel that you're in the root of a tree, traveling along it. Yep. So we basically gave the feel of you hollowed out the root to the tree, and you guys got to remember, we just dropped through the garden and out the bottom of the castle. So now we're traveling somewhere under the castle. I believe right above here is the Cthulhu Shrine.
Somewhere around here.
Yeah,
almost.
I think right in this area, right above it, is where.
Yeah, I heard a creepy noise, so it must be.
Yeah, Cthulhu is calling us again.
Run away!
All right, so you guys can't tell because Eric's right there, but this is a super long pathway that goes endlessly, and
a really long time.
Yeah.
Here's the knot hole.
Oh yeah, we made a small knot hole just for, I don't know why we put it here.
We put this was originally what gave me the idea. There's a small, not small, it's actually a pretty deep hole in the back end of the castle. So we're actually outside of the castle now at this point. But I thought it would be really cool if we could have sort of a bridge crossing it, but in the middle of it. I'll show you guys when we get out there. It makes a lot more sense. But it was cool, and I was like, well, we could make it part of this design. And I wanted to be able to show people, this is where it is.
Basically, dead center of that hole, there's a T shape that is supposed to be the root. And this root splits off down here.
Yep.
And I sort of just randomly decided to do this one night when Eric wasn't around.
This is a good idea. I like this one.
And I started digging out a big root that came this way and put us right here. Creeper, heads up! Ah! Uh-oh.
Another assassin.
Hey, Mr. Squiddles is back, and he brought his friends.
Yay!
There's 4 Mr. Squiddles.
Oh,
I'm going to feed them.
No.
You guys will all get gassy. Yes. Gassy.
You know what happened last time.
Last time Mr. Squiddles wasn't here, and it turned out that somebody fed him and he got gassy, and then he sort of blasted off because of all of his gas.
It was the Squidpocalypse.
Yeah.
Do not beat Mr. Squiddles.
We're dorks.
Yes, we are.
Alright.
Anyway, so that comes out, you can sort of see in that big divot behind the castle. But it's really cool. It's got that lake. And it's got
we really wanted to do something down here, but we didn't want to alter it because we thought that it looked really neat natural, so... Yeah, we decided to make an exit to it that was almost just like a small, I guess almost like a little nature area that you could just hang out.
Yep.
And right back there is the castle, if you guys didn't know. Alright, so let's head back up into here and head back down that really, really long hallway, or long part of the branch. The branch!
Again, this is designed to reach this interesting location.
Yeah, that was why it was implemented initially. So this whole long part is the one that we did to begin with. And it was simply to get to this location to where we're heading.
And this is, by the way, once again, all hand-gathered wood.
Yeah.
And I hate trees at this point.
Yeah. It's not as simple as just burning them down, because then you lose the wood. But, alright, so let's give the backstory on this first. Just let them know exactly what it was when you found it.
So, yeah, I started digging, looking for diamonds, because, as you saw, we needed a lot of diamonds. So You know, you start digging down, go straight down to the bottom of the earth, etc. So I just picked a random mountain and started digging into it. I had a lot of success doing that for the most of the night and found quite a few diamonds. I think over 60 at that point, just randomly digging in random locations. It was great. So I thought, well, I'm going to start here. And as I dug down, I discovered or smashed into an open cavern, which, strangely enough, was stone ceiling and completely grass ground. I have never encountered such a thing. It was just a completely naturally closed off nature space. And I thought, well, this is way too cool to pass up. And I called Tanner. I was like, we gotta go. You gotta see this, man. This is awesome. And he comes down, like, he was being productive. And I'm being productive. I can't come right now. But you have to come see this right now. I said, fine. So he comes over. He's like, I had to see this right now. This is so cool. So we decided, well, we've got to make something really awesome. And we decided to make an oasis.
Welcome to the Oasis. We tried to cram every bit of nature that you can imagine in here. And we also tried to cram every vine in the entire world in here.
Deli doesn't like the vines. I like the vines.
The vines are a little bit overwhelming. I understand that it's supposed to be overwhelming, but it kind of takes away from the overwhelmingness of the rest of the overwhelming.
Right.
And it's overwhelming.
So remember, this is supposed to be the kids' play space, because the treehouse is the kids, and the way to get to this place is through the treehouse. So I figured if I was a kid, I would want to be running around through vines and playing tag and hiding, and it's a little small, but I think it's cool.
Also, we have gotten to the point where we have so many resources that we just sort of try to use them more for decoration purposes rather than only to do cool stuff. So as you can see, we pretty much covered all of our bases with resources in here. We lined having a silk touch pick helps a lot. So we just mined regular diamond block and stuck them in the walls because we thought it looked really neat. And thought that it gave a natural look while also sort of adding a lot to the area. So.
Yep, and you can see right up there to the back is where I originally came in. So I came into this cavern really high up and looked down, and I was like, oh my gosh.
Why is there grass? Yeah, definitely a very cool land generation. I always love things like that.
It's probably one of the coolest I've found in a long time. So
yeah.
Anyway, how do you get out of here? We're in an oasis. We could go out that little side passage, but that was sort of late. And this is way cooler. So
yeah.
If I was a kid, I'd want an amusement park.
So we have a climb way up here. Yes, that is placed by us. And but you don't have to know that. Also, I had to go and gather more of this moss stone brick, but we thought that it looked really good to have that underneath of this little lake area. Or this small outlet, I guess. And if you couldn't guess, that right there, where the water just ends, is a waterfall.
Yeah.
And if you couldn't guess again, we are at the top of a mountain right now.
Yes, and we are manually constructing that waterfall. It has been mined out. It originally was much more graded or gradual, and we kind of made it more sheer. This way, if you wanted to, you could take a boat.
Yeah.
But we're not going to take a boat today.
Not today.
Because we tried that a few times, and it usually results in death, or worse.
Yeah. So, instead, we had... Yeah, I died earlier trying to do that, because I went a little bit too far forward. Rather than riding the water down, I turned into an airplane boat.
Ironically enough, when you land on the ground in a boat, you die.
Yeah. The boat didn't break, though, which is what's even more annoying. But, yeah. So we realized in case somebody didn't know how to swim, or was scared of water, or just plain weird, they would have this option to walk down. And Eric made some pretty cool implementations through here. As he was digging out the waterfall, he made areas where it'd be a cavern behind the waterfall. Because
when you have a waterfall, there are certain tropes that you just can't pass up. This is one of them.
Exactly. And we have come to realize that the view from here when the sun is rising is pretty darn sweet.
It is amazing. I'm thinking about putting a seat here, just like a little wooden chair. Just be like, oh, look at that.
And as you can see right over there is the bridge to enter the castle, actually. So,
another funny thing is that when you look at water through water, you can't see water.
Yeah, so since you can't tell right now where all that sand and dirt and junk is, that is actually the river that runs along the backside of the spire and all that stuff, and then out to God only knows where.
Yep. Do we want to tell them about our upcoming project?
Yeah, we might as well throw it out there, since right now they're just wondering, what does this have to do with anything?
Yeah, it's true. So we've got this really cool stuff over here, but what's it for? anywhere where you see those torches and extending out to about as far as you can see, probably, we are going to turn into the castle's village. It's going to be a pretty major undertaking, but we've come to the conclusion at this point, really. The castle is, well, we always say it every episode, but it's somewhat done.
It's starting to near its conclusion, or so we think. And we realize that having this castle here and implemented for no purpose other than to have royalty living in it doesn't make much sense. So we want people who can actually come and praise the king and visit the castle and things like that. So we need a place for them to come from, which will be the village.
Yep. And it's, like I said, it's going to take a little while. It's probably one of the biggest undertakings we've made. I mean, nothing's going to compare to the Cthulhu Shrine at this point. Obsidian for 8,000 blocks is just mindless dribbles. But this is at least going to be an active process. And we think it's going to look really cool. And we're really proud of the idea that we're actually moving away from the castle a little bit. So
yeah,
hopefully it'll look good.
I think the prospect of looking out from the king's quarters, like that main window, and seeing a village that is your empire as the king will be really awesome.
Yeah.
So, and this was actually a natural generation, so we just sort of added a small step up into it and said, hey, it's a grotto. Go for it.
That's cool looking.
All right.
Maybe a wishing well or something.
Hey, why did you close us in here?
I didn't.
You did. You put blocks here. You're stupid. Oh.
Bad troll is bad.
Yeah, I know. I'm terrible. So we don't, like we said, this is strictly for the children. So we didn't want other people to be able to gain access to this area. So since this is actually open to the outside world, villagers can walk up here and be like, ooh, look, we have a little tiny cavern, and they don't know anything about the rest of this. They don't know about the oasis, the behind the waterfall, the boat exit, nothing like that.
Yep.
So yeah, that is strictly for the children. And then there's a path that wanders down this way, and this would be the exit for anybody coming from there, or the entrance if they're heading up there. Which will
eventually, hopefully, be connected to the village. So we have the beginnings, or at least some of the entrances to the village. Of course, we have the original entrance, which is going to be over that way as well. I do want to turn around and take a look at the waterfall. That's all manually constructed, dug out. Looks pretty cool. If you want to give your opinions, actually, does it look natural enough? Is there anything we should change? I mean, it's going to be kind of hard to comment on it. But, you know, if you feel like you have any suggestions to make, feel free.
Hungry.
Yes, you are.
So yeah, we along with this, once we added in these small bridges down here, we decided, hey, we need to maybe consider revising our path going around the castle. Also, that is our very, very, very first.
Oh, God.
This was our first dirt yurt ever.
Yep. We started the world, and we made a dirt yurt. This is it.
This was before we even made videos. So,
yep.
Just to put it in perspective, we've stuck pretty close to the same area the whole time.
Yeah, Cthulhu's Calling didn't really take very long because it was about 200 blocks away.
Yep. Alright, so we have all your essentials down here. We actually, this lake here at the bottom as well is dug out by us. We wanted to seem reasonable that if you fell from up there, you wouldn't die when you landed. So we actually dug out a lake and then filled it with water. So
and natural geography would dictate that if you got a waterfall falling, it would make a pretty deep divot. Water erodes things, so let's make it natural.
So that's where it left us. Yep. And
this path has been needing maintenance for most of this server's lifespan.
Yeah, this was initially put here for easy access from the spire over to our initial start. And that path slowly got raped by Endermen as time progressed. And then we decided last night, let's fix it. Or a few nights ago, and we did. We fixed it, and then Eric ended up making this nifty little waterway running out of here, and it ended up all being really neat.
Yeah, the entire area looks just so much nicer now, and we've realized that, you know, groundskeepers really do have a real job. It's to make the place look nice. So we realized also that we're kind of the groundskeepers. We should probably take care of that.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, the desert.
Well, yeah.
We'll show them that at the end.
So the trail used to end right here. This used to be the end of the path, and I was like, why? So I grabbed it and yanked it around this way and took off this direction with it, because I figured there should be something different going on here. And at the end of it, I started making a bigger block, and I actually sort of had this plan in mind when I started doing it. This is where people could come to play chess. So it's sort of just a It's a peaceful area by the bottom of the castle where you can play chess, and you can also get an epic view of the tower, somewhat, assuming you're playing at this one. And so yeah, it's not everybody gets the epic view. So
Only
yeah.
the one person, yeah. And then we've got one last thing for you.
Yeah, which this was actually the first thing that we worked on after the previous update.
Yeah.
Aside from maybe the towers modifications. That may have been the only other thing. So basically, over here where the bridge exits is where the village is going to be. Right on the other side is going to be the village. So we decided people are probably going to be entering through here a lot, but we want to verify people's identity before they're allowed access to the castle.
Yep.
So it started out as we just needed to sort of make the castle entrance look nicer, and then we turned it into something a little bit more. And that is what we came up with. And
let me tell you, that iteration is way better than the original Russian hat that we had.
Yeah. Eric has always wanted to do something with this area here, with this small piece next to the spire, but he could just never, I don't know, we never really thought of exactly what we wanted. And
there were always bigger projects.
Yeah.
It wasn't something that we had on the priority list, so. And now that we're sort of moving away from the castle, like I said, it's some of these outer projects are starting to take priority, and it's kind of nice because we get to make the outside of the castle look nice too. So.
Yeah. So along with that, we wanted to implement that face down here as or that helmet as a sort of, I don't know, the entrance wasn't really ornate enough to go with the new not Russian hat. So you guys will see once you see it from an outside angle why we thought it looked like a Russian hat initially, if you sort of scrambled the block some. But
yeah.
So basically the way it would work is whoever comes to the castle would meander up here and they would want entrance. However, there will always be a guard posted up top there, and he will verify whoever is trying to enter.
Ho, traveler, what's your name?
I am Saw Venderfeld of the wilderness. I come to beg for the king's mercy.
You'd better.
Alright, so he opens his mouth and you are allowed access. Then after that, the guard will close it up so nobody else can enter. And he can continue on to kiss the king's feet and hope for a place in his empire.
Pretty cool stuff.
Very nifty.
And
here,
of course,
you get a killer view.
Oh my god, so awesome.
Actually, let's go up higher. Also, this is supposed to be basically an archer's barracks.
I mean, this tower is supposed to be meant for defense mostly.
Yeah.
So we figured what's got a good view of the actual entrance to the turret. And so we've got two balconies, one up here, and obviously the actual tower. So it's got a pretty good view of both the entrance, as well as people trying to get into the turret, as well as the spire itself. And it just serves as a really good defense point. So.
Yeah. Also, the half-slab implementation makes it easy to make really compact staircases.
So nice.
Which we really liked for this, because we didn't have a lot of room to work with. So, yeah, right over this way where you see nothing but birch trees, that is going to be the village.
Mm-hmm.
And then over this way, that used to be a mountain, now it's an awesome castle.
Thanks.
And over this way, you can see a lot of sugarcane and the derpy nether portal and the river heading out that way.
We need to explore
that's
that,
the
by the way.
forest and desert. Yeah, we need to figure out exactly where the river goes.
We've never actually explored the river. We should explore the river.
Yeah. So, yeah, this is one of the better views that we have, aside from the spire, pretty much. The spire, I still feel, is one of the best views. I just love the spire view.
This is just beautiful.
So,
especially at night when it's all lit up. Oh.
Before we actually head out here, I'm going to run over to the actual castle itself and give you guys a look at this tower from there. And then I believe we'll be wrapped up with everything we have to show you. There is the little not Russian hat that we made. It seriously used to be so derpishly colorful, and it was just like this glob of color on top of a bunch of stone. And
yeah, we put the colors surrounding the entire thing the first time.
Yeah.
And it made it look like it was just too colorful. I never thought that I'd say that, but
yeah.
once we actually decided to make it more like a drapery or a curtain on top of it with the colors of the castle, it made it look infinitely better instead of just, like Deli says, derpy.
Yeah, and the end result is much better. It doesn't really pull away from anything. It doesn't look too overwhelmingly large, but it's still enough to do something with that mountain and enough to sort of give a better greeting to the castle.
Yep.
So yeah, we like that a lot. Alright, so let's head back over to the spire here and show them our last idea, and then we can sign off.
Alright.
So, in the process of all of our level gathering, this has happened in the desert.
Yeah, that's a problem.
Creepers like to blow up. What do you know?
Yeah, for those of you who do not know, I'm not even sure if we've mentioned it, but we are playing on the hardest difficulty level, and that means that there are monsters everywhere.
Yeah, and since we hoard so many levels, that was the best place. I mean, it was a big, flat, open area where you could kill monsters without worrying about things sneaking up or getting too close to you. It was perfect. But I guess that idea probably wasn't as good as we thought, and in turn we ended up blowing up a lot of the desert. And
a lot of the desert.
So we have a lot of fixing to do. We want to fill all that back in and try to restore the desert to its former glory. The bad thing is, in order to get what we need to fill that in, we have to destroy somewhere else. So it's kind of pointless. I don't know.
I still think we can make it look good. I mean, think of what we've done. Look to your right.
But that's not a desert.
That's all right.
We're allowed to ruin things underground for that sake.
That's right. Or we could make a gigantic sand pit.
No.
We could make the Sarlacc pit.
So, oh, what a view. What a view.
Oh,
what a view,
beautiful.
what a view,
Beautiful.
What a view. Coming over here. Ah.
Beautiful, Joe.
Would you just look at this?
It's so
Just look at it. So, yeah, up on top of the tower, you guys remember we used to have a big torch up there? Well, we ripped it out. And decided that we were instead going to put a beacon up there when we finally get around to slaughtering the Wither.
It's going to take a while.
Yeah, we're pretty scared of the Wither because we realize he's got some decent stuff going on and he's quite the threat. But luckily, we think with enough practice and enough preparation, we should be able to actually take him out, get hopefully multiple nether stars, and thus form multiple beacons and make the castle be pretty sweet.
It'll be schwiggity sweet.
Yes. Alright, so I think that covers everything. I think we've got it all hit.
I believe so. So, we hope you guys have enjoyed the update. Obviously, there will be more to come. This is kind of turning into James Bond. Bond will be back. And we hope you guys stick with us. Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching, guys.